Hello, hello. We seem to be live, don't we, little one? Yeah? Oh, I think someone's just hungry. Already it seems like I've just started this. This could... Oh, yeah. This could just be a stream where my cat runs all over the desk. So that's always fun. So we have bare storylines. That's very cold. That's fair. Can we just kind of end storyline? Oh, this could be annoying. Add storyline. WF. The nasty Von Erichs. Kevin. Harry. Jerry Slags and Brian Knobs. Oh. Start. No, stop eating things. And let's add in Jimmy Hart as a supporting. That's cold. But if we also just kind of end storyline. Add storyline. WF. The Hart family. I think it was like Bo, Blake, Owen and Jim. And then we can add in Keith. Bruce Hart's one of them. And I feel like there's like a Stuart Hart. Who's the other Hart member? Keith, Owen, Ross, that's who it is. Again, the storyline. Add storyline to the Dynamite Bulldogs. If we add the British Bulldog and the Dynamite Kid. Just to kind of... Obviously that's hot, that's hot. That's a little cold. End storyline. End storyline. Do it. What a rush. Animal and Hawk, and then Typhoon, Earthquake, the Barbarian, the Berserker, the Warlord. And if we also have Mr. Fuji, Paul Ellering. Who else is there? Jimmy Hart's in it. I think in a major role. Major Wall. That seems about right. Just maybe if it starts again because it's been run on a bit long. Again, also end storyline. Heartbreak. He's right. Heartbreak one word? Maybe. Sean, Marty, Sensational Sherry. Fair to Flair, that's fine. Icy Gold, that's fine. Again, just end the storyline, add storyline to Earth. The $1 million. Just $1 million. That might actually fine. So if we had IRS, Ted DiBiase, Tito. Do we really need anyone else? Who's the other guy? Who's the policeman? I feel like he starts with a B. The big boss man. And this storyline isn't really going on. Do a wrestling challenge, right? Run to that. That's an auto booked show, I believe. So we have, yeah, wrestling challenge. What day are we on? We're still on Sunday, so we will be in... Everything seems to be going on in the world now. Dogs are going crazy outside. Sorry, everything seems to be going on. Let's go back to the northwest. We'll change tomorrow. Sid and Brian Donahue had an argument. Linda passed on tips to Shane. Harvey Whippleman has an idea. Typhoon has an idea. I'm happy with that. Jim Powers was in fine form. Owen was in fine form. We don't need to address the locker room. I just want to make sure that this is the auto-booked show on Wrestling Challenge. Yeah, this is the auto-booked one. This is the auto-booked one. That's a different one. This is the auto-book. Yeah. So auto-booker, whole show, boop. Just move everything to match angle, match angle. Has Papa Shango already debuted? Roster. Match history. He has. Alright, that's fine. Just so I know whether or not I can actually like use him in matches now. So WWF Wrestling Challenge opening. Let me just check how the audio is. The audio seems like it's competing with me a bit, so I'm going to turn it down. Maybe that's better. I can't do that. I just know what I'm like when I'm trying to watch something and like two audio levels are competing. But we're back to normal. WWF Wrestling Challenge opening. That's fine. Is this Wrestling Challenge? Because I keep saying that. Yeah, it is. I just want to say the Tony Hawk's video that I uploaded, it has wildly done well, like beyond my expectations at all for it. So I just want to thank everyone. I want to thank anyone that like watched it even for a second. Because it means a lot, because obviously I put a lot more effort into editing that video and putting it together. Than I have normally. Hercules is also in it. So it does mean the world when people actually watch something. I also want Animal Heart. We can put them also as subject to video. Storylines in What a Rush. I forgot about Hercules and Harvey Whippleman. Perfect, that looks good to me. New Foundation against Powers of Pain. Instead, let's just stick the New Foundation against Donahue and Smedley. Let me just turn that down for myself because I can't hear myself think. Stick Owen over as always. He's the one who's actually going to be the star. Interview with Animal and Hawk. Where is he? Putting a promo on heel. Earthquake off screen. Jimmy Hart. As well as, I guess, Typhoon, Warlock, Berserker, Barbarian. And where's Paul Ellering? Is he down anyone important? Oh, we need faces, don't we? There he is. He also can be cutting a promo. Perfect. Rudy against... What is Rudy? I imagine a heel, so we need a face, male. No, I imagine he's a face, so we need a heel. If we exclude already booked, who from here can really do with a win? I guess the Dynamite Kid. How are we for minutes? Oh, we still need to shave a bunch. Stick Dynamite Kid over. Let's make it a domination. Interview with Shawn Michaels. That again is fine. Sensational Sherry. Cutting a promo. Where's Marty? Off screen. You cut another 8 minutes. That's fine. Papa Shango against Virgil. I feel like Virgil's in. Where is it? Oh, $1 million. There it is. I feel like he's in this storyline to a degree. So instead, let's stick Shango against Crush. Crush bra, making kids cry bra. Crush again, just a domination from him is fine with me. Interview with British Bulldog. Where is British Bulldog? Cutting a promo. Dynamite off screen. And then let's just do Big Boss Man. Just remove it. Perfect. Tito against Skinner. Let's stick Tito over. Interview with Bret Hart. Let's stick the Mountie off screen. And Roddy Piper off screen. And finally, let's do Coco, Beware, and Face Men. In fact, we don't even need to do Coco. Let's do Kevin, Kerry, and the Bulldog against heels. Bob Bradley, Chris Duffy, and Dale Wolf. That felt like a match that I've already done. Let's stick Bulldog over probably. Perfect, all looks good. 59 and so would not be penalised. Was book analysis say? Nothing? Sweet. What's our creative ideas? Harvey Whippleman. A bit of a gamble. Let's apply it, why not? Into this one. Angle idea, Whippleman. Perfect. Might as well do it on a B show. What else do we have? Typhoon as a creative finish. And if it's a near certainty, I'll use it on a if it's very risky, I don't want to risk it. Mr. Fuji again, very risky, I don't really want to risk it. Extremely risky once again. Typhoon, if it's a near certainty, I'll just use it on an actual like A show or even a pay-per-view. Alright. Let's run this show. WWF Wrestling Challenge opening. The Berserker beat Volkov in 4:38 with the Power Slam. Got a video featuring Earthquake and the Dragon Bombers. Harvey Whippleman's angle idea was a success. The New Foundation defeated Donahue and Smedley when Owen pinned Smedley with a missile dropkick. Interview with Animal and Hawk. Dynamite Kid defeated Rudy in 3:20 with a dive and headbutt, who have pretty good chemistry together. Interview with HBK. Crush defeated Shango in 59 seconds. They did not click. Interview with Bulldog. Tito defeated Skinner with a figure 4. Interview with Brett. The Bulldogs and the Von Erichs defeated Bradley, Duffy, and Wolf when Bulldog pinned Bradley with a running power slam. I hear my cat being menacing as this goes on. 52, fine. Bouncer report. Made a grand. It's neither the best nor is it the worst. I was going to say, I think we have WCW main event. Oh, we do book this one. So this show does include the match that was Ron Simmons and Big Josh against Tracy Smothers and Steve Armstrong to win the titles. Where are we? Mid-South? We can just do, like, this is the point where it actually happens, but until the match aired, which I'm not sure when, maybe it's today, maybe it's, I don't know when it's meant to air actually, but but not necessarily acknowledged as a US champ. So locker room incidents. Anderson passed on tips to Joey Maggs. Dusty passed on tips to Dustin. Buddy Lee Parker and Ron Simmons have been hanging out a lot recently. Jody Hamilton was in fine form. Scotty Flamingo is a creative idea. Arn Anderson ran some drills. Heat between Dick Murdoch and Tony Schiavone. Kind of like a medal between Ollie and Dusty. Positive. Alright. So we do have Ron Simmons and Big Josh defeating Tracy Smothers and Steve Armstrong to win the titles. Instead, let's just do Simmons and Muta beating heels. Let's have them just beating them again. That's fine with me. 10 minutes. And Muta and Simmons. Yeah, they're both well known, so let's just stick Simmons over. Titles. WCW United States Tag Team. Perfect. There is also PN News beating an unknown jobber. Instead, let's have, what is PN News a face? Face, male. Let's have Dean Malenko beat heel. I don't know. Gene Lejeune. Gene's always happy. Just 4 minutes. Stick Dean over. Nice. What else? It includes Sting, Steamboat, and Bagwell against Rude, Eaton, and Steve Austin from a previous edition of WCW Pro. We don't need to stick that match on. This is just a B show after all. And for whatever reason, there's just no mention of angles on this show. Though there is later. Maybe these are just harder to find, so it's harder to kind of run through the history of them. Alright, let's have heel males. Let's have Eddie. Art Bar. Why is Art Bar so popular? Just is. Yeah. Let's have Eddie, Art Bar, and heel men. Lionheart, I guess, against faces. Todd Champion, the Italian style Todd Champion, the Italian Stallion, and Firebreaker Chip. 5 minutes. Let's stick. Who's more popular? So we're looking at 17, 18, 19. Eddie. 18 and 20. Right, we'll stick Jericho over. Perfect. How many matches do we normally have on this? What is this main event? Yeah, 5. 5's fine. So do we have 3? Let's have one more tag team. Let's have Booker T and Stevie Ray on it. They can beat Tim Bossman and PN News. I don't necessarily care about either of them. 4 minutes, stick Booker over. And then let's have just a 1v1. We can have Rude taking on face, male. Where's Arachnaman? Brad Armstrong. An easy way just to kind of be like, this is a different match while just doing the same stuff. Brad Armstrong, 3 minutes. Stick. Oh, don't stick Brad over. Stick Rick Rude over. It does need to be for the belt. Angle. In fact, is this one for the belt? Yes. And Ron Simmons is the victor. Yes. WCW main event opening. See, I'm finally remembering to use these again. Right, pre-taped video. It's always nice to see more people like move up to star and move up to major star. What angles were actually used on the last one? You can kind of just do more or less the same. So once again, Barry Windham warns Larry Tabasco that revenge is coming soon. Perfect. 5 minutes. Backstage interview. Barry Windham cutting a promo on not Brad Armstrong, on Larry Zbyszko off screen. Book, that's fine. Oh, I thought I had Barry Windham cutting a promo. Perfecto. WCW Super Brawl 2 ad. Hype, pre-taped, video. Perfect. World Championship wrestling promo. Just the hype for the TV show. I'm fine doing these kind of like little advert angles. Pre-taped, video, hype, 5 minutes again. More or less the same gubbins as adding some well-known boys. Perfect. Stick that hither. Let's have Magnum, TA, and Sting talk about race and Luger. Don't discuss race issues. They just talk about Harley. Magnum cutting a promo, same as Sting. On Harley Race, who's off screen, and Lex Luger, who's off screen. What do you want, little one? I can hear you. So, what was the last pay-per-view we did? Clash of Champions. Recap of Clash of Champions. Hype on a tease. Pre-taped video. What was that noise? Ugh. What could you possibly do? There isn't even a dog outside, but all I can hear is me cat jumping at the window and the blinds. Actually, come back onto this chair. Let's just stick all these bonds. Missy Hyatt. Back to Missy Hyatt. Oh. Here? Is that fine? Are we going angle match, angle match, angle match, angle match? 65% matches, currently at 59, so not penalised. Thank you for running across. What's going in with you? Huh? Why won't you settle? You normally sleep while I do this. So what's going on? You get the zoomies. Oh, that's wrong. So WCW main event opening. Rude defeated Brad Armstrong. Windham warns Zbyszko that revenge is coming soon. Booker T and Stevie Ray defeated Bossman and PN News when Booker pinned Bossman with a towering inferno. Recap of Clash of Champions. Few people debuted gimmicks, let's not acknowledge that. A terror match, Lionheart and Opera del Terra defeated the Italian Stallion and the WCW Patriots when Lionheart submitted Chip with a Lion Tamer. Magnum TA and Sting talk about Race and Luger. Malenko defeated Jean Lee Jean in 413 with a Texas Cloverleaf. WCW promo. And then Simmons and Muta defeated the Young Pistols. When Simmons... Sorry, I'm drinking an alcohol-free beer while doing this. It's making me gaseous. Defeated Steam Armstrong with a Spinebuster to make defense number 1 of the United States Tag Team titles. Super Brawl 2 ad. Boom. Solid enough show, made 30 grand. Everyone is happy. Especially me. Yeah, I checked the Tony Hawk's video that I uploaded a couple of days ago. And it had like 30 views. And I was like, to be fair, that's kind of what I expect. Like, relatively niche. I'm not like advertising it or posting it anywhere. 226. Madness. What else? Grand Hamada quit UWA. Oh, what's going on with Hako? Oh, Hack. There's no point me even. That's too recent of a picture of Suzuki. Is that the only one there is? It's no point me going all the way in. We can just check here. Yeah, it is relatively recent. It seems like there was originally a different one, but for some reason it's been replaced. Oh well, that's fine. It doesn't necessarily affect me, I just wondered. Sid Justice, MVP. Sid Justice is said to have claimed that he carried the WWF. That's fair. Alright. Seems to keep happening. Yeah, the NWA World title changed, that's fine. Now, LPWA, Alison Royal won the women's. That is fine with me. Let's check it. So, Alison Royal defeated Debbie Coombs. Again, also would have been happy with Debbie Coombs. So, won't complain either way. If anything, I might run that match back. Where is relationships? Where is alliance? There it is. Ladies Pro Wrestling Association. Roster. Nope. Negotiate. Dr. Friend Tattoos. Proposed talent trading agreement. Nice. It just means I can get the women. Perfect. Let's Power Hour is fine, we ought to book that. That is also the same day as WCW. So WCW Worldwide. I don't even know what day that's gonna be. Saturday. Don't know, like 22nd. 22 Feb 1992. Nice. That was actually right. Fair play to me. And now we actually have this one, so we don't need to book something else. Contract negotiations with Shawn Michaels. Just no, we're fine. I'm happy with the normal thing we have now. Hulk Hogan thinks Dynamite Kid's unsafe. We should fire him before he cripples someone. Oh, little do you know, Hulk, he's crippled himself. And then Primetime Wrestling, is that our auto book? Have I already done our auto? I have. Sometimes I'm just dumb. Oh, I've even already got the stuff for Primetime Wrestling up. I'm the best. Perfect. Let's run Primetime Wrestling. So now they're at Monday. We can change to, where are we? We're in New England. Locker room incidents. Mike Sharp wants to hang out. That's fine. Some heat between Mustafa and Owen. Ross and Animal have been hanging out recently. Lord Alfred Hayes brought some free drinks. That's that done. Once again, let's meddle between Dynamite and the Bulldog. So what's going on in primetime wrestling? Vince McMahon moderates tonight's panel of Monsoon, Slick, Heenan and Perfect. Monsoon does some revisionist history, saying that Sid Justice spent more time eyeing Hulk Hogan in the SummerSlam main event last year than serving as special guest referee. Heenan contends that Sid did nothing wrong in the Rumbles, people need to get off his back. Slick argues that people lost respect for Sid when he acted like a crybaby. After showing footage of Sid's heel turn, Monsoon gives praise to Sid for outwitting Jack Tunney and getting him to change the main event so he could face Hogan. Perfect concludes the segment by ranting about how he was not consulted by Tunney before rebooking Flair's title match. That's fair. We can add this. So, video footage of Sid's heel turn. What are you doing? Stop eating your own litter. Are you mad? I shouldn't say out here. Some things just cease to amaze me. Oh. Footage of John Cena turning on Cody. Sid turning on Hogan. So Sid, I guess character development, same with Hulk. And then Gorilla Monsoon, I guess cutting a promo, same with Mr. Perfect, Vince McMahon, Bobby Heenan, and Reverend Slick. Perfect. It can be unscripted, I don't mind. An angle, we do also need WF Prime Time Wrestling opening. Pre-taped video hype. Let's do all of the... one day you will be back, Ultimate Warrior, and then I'll have the last laugh. Improvised. Perfect. Opening contest, Tanker pins Kato in 4 minutes. No necessary kind of Tanker against Kato. Oh yeah, Kato's injured, isn't he? Let's do Tatanka against Mustafa. That's fine. 3 minutes. Tatanka domination. I knew you'd be unhappy. Against Skinner. Again, more or less the same. Jobs are good. Footage of Slick delivering a serving at his church airs. I don't care enough for that. So the Warlord beats Hercules with a running power slam in 6 minutes. Instead, we can do Hercules and the Warlord against faces. I don't know. Crush and... Move your tail, please. Thank you. Crush and Volkov. The odd little team that is. I'll be to stick Hercules over. He could do with being further up the card. No picture-in-picture things, so instead Bret Hart squash and wrestling challenges shown. Monsoon predicts that Randy Savage will win the WWF Championship at WrestleMania, and Bret will regain the IC title. Perfect argues that Roddy Piper should be in a straitjacket because he's crazy, so he expects a fight with Brett instead of a technical wrestling match. Fair, very good. Let's just do Gorilla Monsoon as the victim. Gorilla Monsoon cutting a promo, saying Mr. Perfect on Brett, Roddy, Ric Flair, and Randy Savage. We just need to put it like that. That's fine. Put that here. The Beverly Brothers win a squash match in 3 minutes. The Genius also does a promo which we'll add in. So teams, let's have the Beverlys against Face Male. Let's exclude already booked. Let's stick them against Louis Spicolli and Coco Beware. Stick over, perfect. The Genius promises that the Beverlys will destroy the New Foundation's pants and save the WF. That's fine with me. So the Genius, Blake, and Bo. We can change it to cut the promo. Blake, cutting a promo, and the Genius cutting a promo on Owen and Jim. Jim off screen, that looks good. Gene Oakland does the WrestleMania 8 report. Literally for that one, I'm just going to kind of do the usual pre-taped hype videos. Perfect. Can we improvised? What are you doing? Oh. If she's a terror now, what's she going to be like? So the Nasty Boys and the Disasters defeat the New Foundation's Duggan and Slaughter. When Earthquake pins Jim Neidhart with an elbow drop. That seems like a really big match to have on. Instead, let's have a 4v4 of teams, the Natural Disasters and the Nasty Boys against Face Male. Let's do Duggan. Oh, best viewers, thank you. I will buy my viewers. Duggan, Luke, Butch, and let's do Snooker, why not? 7 minutes. Let's stick stick Earthquake over. I prefer Earthquake. Perfect. Any kind of angle that goes on during it? Not necessarily. Instead, let's have the Nasty Boys and Jimmy Hart promise to run the rest of the Von Erichs out of wrestling. So we have Jimmy Hart cutting a promo, Brian Knobbs and Jerry Sags on Kevin and Kerry. Yeah, you can be unscripted. A replay of the Roddy Piper Mountie match from Saturday Night Main Event airs. We can just put that as an angle, to be fair. Just Roddy Piper and the Mountie. 4 minutes. So Shawn Michaels beats Louis Spicolli in 3 minutes. Instead, we can probably just have Sean beat Face. I'm happy with him beating Virgil. Like, I don't care enough about Virgil. 3 minutes. Sean wins. After the bout, Michaels rolls Piccoli out the ring and poses with Sherry. That's fine, there isn't really an angle afterwards. Oh god, what's that? The very first match. Nope, how am I going to figure this out? Put that here. Perfect. Even got a double angle here that we can save at some point. Bossman beats the Berserker in 3 minutes via countout. Instead, we can probably just stick the Boo Bossman against Heelman. Mustafa, that's fine with me. 4 minutes, Bossman over. Let's see. There doesn't seem to be any... See, I wonder what show it is with the picture-in-pictures. After the bell, the Berserker drags Bossman back out to the floor and tosses him into the guardrail. He pulls up the ring mats and slams Bossman to the concrete. However, Bossman recovers to reverse a whip into the steps, and Berserker does not re-engage once Bossman grabs the nightstick. I mean, there's a storyline for you. Well, I stuck Big Bossman in this one, so instead we can stick him in Water Rush. Let's do Bossman against the Berserker. Is the Berserker in a match? No. Bossman wins after a Rage DQ. We can also make this a Wild Brawl if we wanted. This isn't the A show, is it? No. That's fine. I was starting to get a bit worried there. Perfect. The Berserker. Big Bossman. Undertaker squashes Sean. Bulldog squashes Sean. Yep, that's the end of the show. Job's a good one. Actually don't think we need to add any more. We can just extend some of the matches. So there you go, you booked 14 segments, 85 minutes. The fans are expecting 65% matches. Currently you're at 64 and so would not be penalised. That is A-okay with me. Alright, let's start. WWF Primetime Wrestling opening. Tanaka defeated Skinner in 6:46 with an Indian death drop. We got video footage of Sid's heel turn. Monsoon gives praise to Sid for outwitting Jack Tunney and getting him to change the WrestleMania main event so that he could face Hogan. The Dragon Bombers of Hercules and Warlord defeated Crush and Volkov when Hercules submitted Crush with a full Nelson. Monsoon predicts that Savage will win the WWF Championship at WrestleMania and Bret will regain the IC title. Perfect argue that Roddy should be in a straitjacket because he's crazy, so he expects a fight instead of a technical wrestling match. The Beverleys defeated Spicoli and Coco when Bo pinned Spicoli with a shaker height spike. The Genius then promises the Beverleys will destroy the New Foundation's pants and save the WWF. Oakland does his WrestleMania report. The Disasters and the Nasty Boys defeated... No, we don't go into the couch. God, she's been such a terror. I hope she wasn't doing this when I was out. The Disasters and the Nasty Boys defeated Duggan, Snooker and the Bushwhackers when Earthquake pinned Butch with an Earthquake splash. You know you're not supposed to go in there. But you run away as soon as I get there, don't
Guardian.
The Nasty Boys and Jimmy Hart promised to run the rest of the Von Erichs out of wrestling. Shawn Michaels defeated Virgil in 709 with the Sweet Chin music. And a replay of the Piper Mountie match from Saturday Night Main Event. The Bossman defeated the Berserker in 1009, but the Berserker got DQ'd after going into an attacking rage. After the bell, Berserker drags Bossman back to the floor and tosses him into the guardrail. He pulls up the ring mats and slams Bossman on the concrete. However, Bossman recovers quickly enough to reverse a whip into the steps, and Berserker does not re-engage once the Bossman grabs his nightstick. Bet he does. Woohoo. 65. Financial report, 19 grand. Job is a good. Always happy with that one. Got no complaints. I hope I hope whoever is watching is enjoying this series. Seems to be going alright. I'm quite enjoying this one. It's probably my favourite save I'm doing so far. I just like this time period. I'd like it a bit earlier. I'd like 1983. I just want all the Von Erichs to be alive and to book them. But that's fine. Power Hour. What's next? What do we have? Drug test fees and some viewing figures. Oh, that's fine. And next up is Superstars of Wrestling. We can do that. What is Superstars? Oh, that's also the A show. WF Superstars of Wrestling. 992. What day is it? It's in 4 days, so the 22nd. Perfect. We also actually have that one. Advanced next show. Jim Dio. Ronnie Jim Dio. I always try and look over and just kind of see what other music we could put on. Like I've said previously, I don't want to risk sticking something on for me to just get some kind of copyright strike. That's right, the music video with the RuneScape music seems to work so perfectly. Because that, like, with the Tony Hawk's one, there is some copyrighted details. I mean, it's 4 songs, and there's no action is being took. Like, nothing's been took down. It's no kind of ID claim. Like, it's fine with it being used. It's kind of annoying, but not like the end of the world. I always knew when it came to the Tony Hawk stuff that it just would get some kind of copyright strike. Like, playing that already, I'm surprised Twitch never said anything. Though I think part of the VODs were silenced. I don't know if anyone ever watched them. Never really seems to be too much going on. Held a couple of house shows, they were fine. WCW Power Hour. Robert Fuller going downhill. He's looking a little flabby. bunch of house shows being held again, and Superstars of Wrestling. The world title has now been defended in 34 days. I didn't know that was an issue that comes up. Oh, I forgot Piper was off to film. We'll eventually sort out storylines. We'll get there. We'll get there. So what show's being booked first is the WWF. It is. We can now go back to, is it New England? It is indeed. In the extra large centre. Ray Stevens is a character idea. The Genius is a character idea. Repo Man is a character idea. Tanaka does not like team building. Neither does Mustafa. Wurzel had a fun backstage atmosphere when he went on a karaoke machine. Right, what's going on Superstars of Wrestling? We have Superstars of Wrestling opening. We're back at these opening angles. We forgot about them for a couple of shows, but we're back on it again. Jobs are good, jobs are good, and improvise, that's fine with me. Your hosts are Vince McMahon and Mr. Perfect. When asked about Savage facing Flair at WrestleMania, Perfect says he knows a thing or two that will affect Savage's performance. Then inhales a helium balloon and says Savage will be anything but macho. We don't need that. We do have a Bret Hart squash match straight away. Let's have Bret the Hitman Hart against recognisable heel Mustafa. 4 minutes, that's fine. The announcers talk about Bret vs Piper at WrestleMania for the IC title. Hear from Piper in an insert promo as he calls himself the meanest son of a gun Bret has ever seen. Fine with me. Like 3 minutes. Roddy just cutting a promo on Bret off screen. See, I'm already jumping the gun on the improvised bit. We get the WWF update with Gene Oakland. We learned that the Royal Rumble will be available on VHS this coming Thursday. Oakland talks about the WrestleMania double main event, and we see clips from Saturday Night Main Event when Sid turned his back on Hogan and trashed the barbershop. So we could actually just do Gene, Hulk, and Sid. It's a mixture of live and well, it's just pre-taped, isn't it? Could it be a pre-taped angle, or does it have to be a pre-taped video? Oh no, it could be a pre-taped angle. Improvised. B.A. Dalton against Tatanka. Here Tatanka in an insert promo calls himself a leader of all the Indian nations, and he has the wisdom to go to the top in the WWF. So let's do Tatanka against heel male. Exclude already booked. He can go up against, I guess, Repo Man. Who cares about Repo? Oh, they have awful chemistry. He can go up against the Warlord, I guess. Not really doing much with the Warlord. Tatanka, perfect. Where's that? Angle. Tatanka calls himself the leader of the Indian nations. Of course you are, Tatanka. Is he actually part like Native American at all? The announcers plug Vince's bodybuilding magazine. I'm not saying that in a dig kind of way. I'm just wondering if he actually is. Out of sheer curiosity. So we have Money Inc. in the match. Against just some random faces. We could stick them against the Bushwhackers. Before the match, IRS tells the crowd things are bigger in Texas and that the biggest tax cheats in the world are here. Vince says DiBiase and IRS have the potential to become one of the greatest teams. IRS wins, then we get an ad for WrestleMania. Stick IRS over. See, these matches should go down well because Ted's like major star, I believe. Let's do our IRS angle. So IRS cutting a promo and Ted cutting a promo. 3 minutes. Ad for WrestleMania 8. Just hype, pre-taped, video. Let's do the major stars. And some of the well-known boys. We don't normally do these. Try and build up some of those storylines that have been brewing. Or at least get the heat up. Improvised. Vince hypes up the history of WrestleMania magazine. And then we see Savage and Jake from Saturday Night Main Event. We see exclusive footage of what took place afterwards, when Elizabeth ran out and celebrated with Savage. We saw Jake hide behind the curtain. Savage and Elizabeth head back towards the curtain as Jake grabs a chair and does not care who comes through first, as they will get hit. Vince yells for producers to do something, but just as Jake was about to swing, the Undertaker appeared from behind and grabbed the chair. Savage then attacked Jake as the Undertaker and Bearer are looking down on Jake. This slowly starts the Undertaker face turn. We can also stick Paul Bearer to turn face. So, video of Savage and Jake. We know what it is. We can just stick it. Oh god. There's this. 6 minutes should be fine. Pre-taped video of Randy Savage, the Undertaker, Miss Elizabeth, and Jake Roberts. Boop, boop, boop. That was good. That's actually the end of the show. That's what the whole show is building towards, so we absolutely need to add more. We had a few angles, so we could probably just extend some of the matches if I'm completely honest. Let's have a 2v2 maybe. I always do tag matches as the main event. Let's have a 1v1 and let's have heel Ric Flair beat face Sergeant Slaughter. That's fine with me. 15 minutes. Ric Flair. Storytelling. At ringside. Randy Savage. Yep, that's fine. Doesn't need to be a defense. We can also maybe do a huge 5v5. Let's do some of our smaller kind of angles. Let's have Kevin and Kerry, along with Owen, Jim, and Bulldog against heels Bo, Blake, Dynamite, and the Nasty Boys. Yeah, that seems like the match. How about we need about 24 more minutes, this should be fine. I'm actually willing to stick Dynamite Kid over loser Jim Neidhart. Let's make this a steal the show. See that here? The ring turns into a huge brawl as all 10 men can't stop fighting. Apostrophe, exclamation mark. Let's get that grammar in. 4 minutes, so we have Bo, Blake, Knobs, Sags, and Dynamite. Kevin, not Coco, Kerry. Who else in that? The British Bulldog, Owen and Jim. Not Jim Duggan. Not Jim Cartiers. Jim Neidhart. Sweet. Stick that here. That we need about 5 more minutes. So we could do the Vince Hypes the History of WrestleMania magazine. Actually goes there. Let's just do all. Nope. The usuals. Who are you looking at? You're not going to be fed for a while now. You've got another hour until your tea. Perfect. And then I also want to add the well-known men. The world's biggest angle for the history of WrestleMania. Not at all them. Yeah, fine. We improvise. Truth be told, I thought we'd get to a point and it's like there's too many people in this angle. Let's stick this here, and then we can also add another match of. Let's have Marty take on heel male Repo Man. How long do we need? 1 minute. Perfect. Marty Jannetty. It can literally also just be a minute. Job's a good one. 62%, so we're not penalised. What's this saying? What creative ideas do we have? Ray Stevens, a safe bet for a character idea. Where is it? Creative idea. It's fine. Boop. Idea was a success. Where is Repo Man? Deploy. Was a failure. Oh, sorry, Repo Man. Oh, the creative. Typhoon's got a good finish. Do we have a Typhoon match? Stop! You did. Wait, get that litter out of your mouth, man. Why are you in your litter? I can hear you spit it out, you Burke. Alright, that's fine. Let's run the show. You got a WWF Superstars of Wrestling opening. Bret Hart defeated Mustafa in 6:15 with a sharpshooter. That was a great match to open. Piper calls himself the meanest son of a gun Bret has ever seen. Oh, Jim Neidhart said broken fingers. That's probably Dynamite's fault. Dynamite Kid and the Beverly Brothers and the Nasty Boys defeated Bulldog, Von Erichs and New Foundation when Dynamite pinned Jim Neidhart with a diving headbutt. The ring turns into a huge brawl as the 10 men can't stop fighting. We get the WWF update with Gene Oakland, who talks about the WrestleMania double main event, as we see clips from Saturday Night Main Event when Sid turned his back on Hogan and trashed the barbershop. Tatanka defeated the Warlord in 2:32 with an Indian death drop, and then calls himself the leader of all Indian nations, and that he has the wisdom to go to the top in the WWF. Marty defeated Repo Man in 105 with a fist drop. Vince hyped the WrestleMania magazine. Money Inc. defeated the Bushwhackers in 3:48 when IRS submitted Butch with the penalty. IRS tells the crowd things are bigger in Texas and that the biggest tax cheats in the world are here. An ad for WrestleMania 8 airs. In a bout which had great heat and good wrestling, Flair defeated Slaughter in 15-15 with a figure 4. And then we got a video of Savage defeating Jake Roberts from Saturday Night's Main Event. We then see exclusive footage when Elizabeth ran out to celebrate with Savage. Jake was hiding behind the curtain. Savage and Elizabeth then headed back towards the curtain as Jake grabbed a chair, not caring who he would hit first. Vince wanted production to do something, but it wasn't until The Undertaker appeared from behind and grabbed the chair. Savage then attacked Jake as the segment ended with Undertaker and Bearer looking down at Jake. We still don't have enough interesting storylines going on. I thought that was a good show. Jim's only out for 7 days, that's fine. As good as that was, I feel like that's not going to be good enough. I feel like the TV people are not going to be happy. So we're now in the Midwest. The 5 Seasons Centre. Doug Summers has turned up, that's fine. DJ Peterson has. Arn Anderson ran some drills. Ricky Steamboat and Regal have been having an influence on each other. Chip has an idea. Sting has an idea. Now the Sting one's good, we could use it for Super Brawl. It says auto book this whole show. Put everything in a kind of little match angle doobry. This one always seems to book more angles than matches, whereas the WWF one does more matches than angles. You explain it. So, WCW Power opening. Let's have the main men on character development. Vinny Vegas against Joey Maggs. Let's stick Vegas over. Video featuring the Dangerous Alliance. I feel like I always spell that wrong. I think it's just my awful typing. Let's do the heels. Down to recognisable. I know I stuck Tony Sinclair in it at some point, but I'm not at a point where I can turn him heel, so it doesn't really work. Right, there's all the boys. What do I need? Another 1 minute. There you go. Let's have King Kalua beat face male Brad Armstrong. Doop. Interview with Tully. It always wants to do this angle. Yeah, we'll just stick it on. That's fine. Interview with Tully. Bill Kazmaier can defeat Mr. Hughes. Interview with Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton. So Bobby Eaton, a promo, and then Terry Taylor. He can just beat Peter News. I guess we're building Terry Taylor up again now that he's got some kind of angle. 62%, so would not be penalised. WCW Power Hour opening. Vegas defeated Maggs in 640 with a snake eyes. Video featuring the Dangerous Alliance. Oh, nothing but good stuff there. King Kalua defeated Brad Armstrong with an atomic knee. Interview with Tully. In fact, let's... Oh, its title. Borrow title. Al Madrill and Colonel De Beers. Healed male. Okay. Al and I guess it's just a base heel kind of thing. They can go up against I guess the WCW Patriots. 3. Let's stick De Beers over there. I feel like Al could do with being a heel. Perfect. Doop. I don't know why I'm adjusting this so much. WSW introduced the NWA World Tag Team Champions. So just Al Morrow, hold the beers. Just it, just that. They're just coming on. They have a match. I will use them at some point. Bill defeated Mr. Hughes in 6:46 by submission. Interview with Arn and Bobby. Terry Taylor defeated PN News in 5:04 with a flying forearm smash. WCW introduced the NWA World Tag Team Champions, which actually went like a really good angle. An bout which didn't have much heat and terrible wrestling. Al and De Beers defeated the WCW Patriots when De Beers defeated Chip with a belly to back inverted slam. Solid enough show. Booking team meeting is fine. Rude and Chip butted heads and are furious at each other, and that's just the end. That's all that happened backstage. Right, where is Worldwide? So we have a WCW, just World Championship. Wrestling opening. Sorry about that. Wrestling opening. Hype, pre-taped video. I've said it before, but I'm not sure how much these actually make a difference. So we have Hillman defeating Brass Batten. Who's this Sunday? Maybe then it's tomorrow. When does it say it is? I hate that that's not available. Super Brawl, Saturday the 29th. When is Super Brawl? Super Brawl 2. When is the 29th? Yeah, I don't know. For some reason I thought it was the next day. Yep, Pillman gets a quick and easy win. Where is he? Where is he? Pillman gets beat heel, male. Mr. Hughes, that one's fine with me. 5 minutes. Pillman over. Eric Bischoff meets with the WCW and Pan and Van Hammer, since they will be wrestling the Dangerous Alliance in the main event. Instead, Eric Bischoff meets up with what kind of faces do we have? So the other matches is PN News and El Gigante getting a win. Who cares about that? Rick Rude gets a win. Steamboat and Cactus. So instead, face. Who can we put them against? It's kind of like. Let's do Jimmy Valiant. Nikita and Funk's injured. And Ivan on Bobby and Larry. And Larry Zbyszko. Eric Bischoff meets up with Valiant, Koloff, and Valiant, Nikita, and Ivan. I'm happy with that. And Eric Bischoff is the interviewer. 4 minutes. Can I add them as a team? Are they a team as the Russians? They are. Perfect. So we have PN News and Gigante getting a win. Instead, let's have a 2v2. Let's have Face. Who do we have? Let's do Billy Robinson and Liger. I felt they could also be. Is this the normal thing? Against heels. Let's stick them against Bar and Eddie, actually. That could be a wilding match. Not Abdullah, Billy Robinson. Is there a different Jushin picture? Yeah, I'm happy with that one. And let's stick Liger over. Let's also make this steal the show, because this is madness of a match. Sting gets called out for an interview with Tony Schiavone. He had one munch to think about his title match, so what's running through his head? Luger is our business. But Sting says wrestling is his business. Business is pretty damn good right now. Thanks, Sting. So, Tony Schiavone is the interviewer, and Sting is cutting a promo on Lex Express. Perfect. 4 minutes, again, happy with that. So Eric Bischoff is holding the WNN segment. They announced that Simmons and Big Josh defeated the Young Pistols for the US Tag Team titles on main event. Simmons delivered the spine busters to Smothers to set up the Northern Exposure from Big Josh. So then there's a recap of the 8-match card. Luger, Luger has some comments for Stinger. He says he's never been more prepared for a match and that he's looking forward to walking out of Super Brawl as champion. Let me just get rid of this sassy little thing. Thank you, Wrestling Recaps. Enjoy your sassy little comments. So let's just have Harley Race cutting a promo, and Lex, I forgot he's back. And Sting. Perfect. Rude gets a win in a singular minute. Face man, he can beat Gigante. I don't care enough. Doop. Skip. Job is a good in United States, that's fine. Next up we have Ricky Steamboat with his own personal ninja against Cactus Jack. Paulie Dangerously joins Tony Schiavone for commentary. Let's see. Steamboat slams Cactus. Comes off the top with a double axe handle for the cover, but Cactus has his foot under the bottom rope. Cactus then ends up giving Steamboat a backdrop over the top rope to the floor for a DQ. They continue fighting on the floor as Zbyszko comes out, but the ninja pulls out his nunchucks and Zbyszko is afraid. So, Cactus against Ricky Steamboat. 10 minutes is fine. Steamboat wins. with an... I guess we could do an intentional DQ finish. They continue fighting. Continue fighting on the floor as Ice Bisco comes out. We don't need to do the ninja bit. I don't care enough about that. So Larry, Cactus, and Ricky Steamboat. Character development. How long have we got? Another 35. Just kind of. So after the main event, there's basically just a Vinny Vegas promo on Big Josh, but no one cares about that. So instead, let's do a 3v3. It's Anne, Bobby Eaton, and Larry Zbyszko against Jimmy Valiant and the Russians. To make this 15 minutes storytelling, it's an Arn Anderson victory. That's just kind of the end of the show. Storytelling. Which staff is it? Oh, Nikita, that's fine. I can't have Zbyszko either. Michael Hayes. So we could have a Super Brawl 2 ad, just to end the show. 4 minutes. And add all the boys in. All the boys. Perfect. We could probably squeeze in another match. Let's have a 4v4 of... Let's have Al. What is if I Alliance title, borrow title? Is Allison Royal? Ash the face. That's fine. Oh, back. Instead, let's have a 3v3 of Al, Colonel De Beers, and King Kalua against Face, Men, should do Big Josh, Z-Man, and I don't know, man. PN News. How long do we need? 30. Oh, God, almost perfect. 8 minutes. Let's stick King Kalua over. Book. Do we have a double angle anywhere? It doesn't look like we do. So let's just stick that here and again do it. History of the NWA video. Just a hype pre-taped video, 4 minutes. Stick everyone kind of in as normal. Just a quick little thing, nothing silly. So 71%, so would not be penalised. Booking analysis says Jimmy Valiant and Ivan are being overused. I kind of understand, if I'm honest. So we've got a World Championship Wrestling opening. Extremely short match. Pillman defeated Hughes in 4:41 by pinfall with an air Pillman. Eric Bischoff meets up with Valiant, Nikita and Ivan ahead of the main event. Billy Robinson and Jushin Liger defeat La Perra del Terra when Liger pinned Eddie with a shooting star press. Of course, he got a 41. Look at that. Can't believe the match. I feel the match quality could have been higher. I understand the crowd not caring. Sting gets called out for an in-ring interview with Tony Schiavone. He's had 1 month to think about his title match. Luger is all business, but Sting says wrestling is his business, and business is pretty damn good. Rude defeated Gigante in 38 seconds with a rude awakening. Luger has some comments for Sting. He says he's never been more prepared for a match, and he's looking forward to walking out Super Brawl as world champion. Al Marrell, Colonel De Beers and King Kalua defeated Josh, News and Z-Man when Kalua pinned PN News with an atomic knee. Then got a video on the history of the NWA. Ricky Steamboat defeated Cactus Jack in 9:57 when Jack intentionally got disqualified. They continue fighting on the floor as Larry Zbyszko comes out. And then in the main event, which, to be fair, didn't do great, I think there was 2 other better matches. The DA defeated Valiant and the Russians when Arn pinned Ivan with a spinning spine buster. We end with a Super Brawl 2 ad. 67. Now I've heard this show's better than that. I mean, the main event didn't do the best, but made 1, 2, 3 with some pop in New England at least. I don't think that's bad enough to warrant any problems. But I think that'll be the stream for today. All my streams end up being an hour and 25 minutes. Like, if you go through like the content, it's like I cut them. Like, one of the videos is perfectly 1 hour 24 minutes, which, shocking that I managed to get like that. But it's either like 120 or 150. It's whether or not I get that extra half an hour. But with that said, I want to thank you all for coming out today. Anyone that watches it, I appreciate it with my whole heart. Stay safe and look after yourself.